So it's a wrap.
You and me, everything that we've been through has made us strong. You won't believe.
All right, thank you guys for joining me. I'm gonna try to keep it to 10 minutes max. We're gonna be going over how do you film a music video. Now, doing a music video, there's a couple different types of music videos that you usually see. The number one is the performance video. That's where the artists do just a performance. There's another one called a story or a narrative type. The third one is abstract. You usually see a performance mixed with a story, usually, and that's typical. Back in the day in the 80s and 90s, when MTV was a little bit younger, he used to do a lot more abstract videos with performance laced within there, or just totally abstract. But now we're moving into where they're a little bit more cinematic. They have a story to them. If you remember back when Michael Jackson came to MTV, he started doing more of a narrative type of a story, like a mini film. A lot of clients want those kind of videos. What I'm going to give you guys is some tactical structure on how to make money out of this business. Now, this business, it's a lot of glamour around the music video industry. You got the fancy cars, the women, the clothes, the fashion, the money, the lifestyle. So you have a lot of draw to people that want to maybe do their own music videos, or they want to get into music videos thinking that they'll make a ton of money. That can be one of the furthest things from the truth right now. As of now, in 2019, music videos have went the way of indie filmmaking, meaning that any blow Joe with a decent enough camera and a good eye can make a music video. But to do it on a level to where people call you and they pay you the right amount of money to keep your business going and to establish new clients, that's what we're going to be talking about today. To keep it short, I'm gonna just go over a couple of points, and then I'll dive in deep probably later on another video. A lot of people see the glamour and the hype around the music video, so they want to do it. And what they'll do, they'll get into it, they'll charge $500, and guess what happens? They're able to, in the next year, charge maybe $700. The next year, they might be able to charge $800, but they stay right around that $500 range, and they struggle the whole time. I got stuck into that pitfall and that hole. This is general to any business. You can get stuck by using your clientele that you first obtain, and you try to carry that clientele along your journey. I would always say, if you watch any of my other videos and if you follow me at all, I always say there's a certain time when you got to flush the toilet. And I'm not talking about the clients are bad or anything like that. It's just at the level when you start growing, you got to get rid of old clients in order to get new clients, because where you get them is where you have to keep them. I had to release a few clients that I had, and I really love these clients. I mean, I really love them. I grew with them for a couple years. There's a certain time where you have to flush the toilet and you have to dump all the clients that you got at those low prices. And this is the mentality that you have to go into music videos with. You have to be very selective with your first couple of clients, because those are going to become your real. What your mentality is going to be is I'm going to go in here, I'm going to take these low budget clients, and I'm going to use these to build my reel and catch my other fish. So you're building your bait, basically. So that's the mentality. I'm going in to build my bait, to create this bait, to get bigger clients and bigger paying clients and more consistent clients. A lot of people don't do that. They think just I'll work up to that higher tier clientele, and that really does not work. And low paying clients, guess what? Refer other low paying clients. If somebody sees that you're undervaluing yourself, you're not calculating your costs correctly, when you're doing these kind of creative services, businesses, you have to go into it with your cost already pre-made. You have to have a matrix. You got to build out a matrix. You got to say, okay, my education costs $20,000, $50,000, whatever it costs. A percentage of that has to be into the cost of where you bill your client. My skill level, you rate your skill level. Take a percentage of that. Your equipment, you don't have to own your own equipment, but I own my own equipment, because on set, it's all about speed. It's all about how can you solve problems fastest way possible, because a lot of these are time sensitive projects. So being on set and things like that, you're paying for the hours. So your matrix have gas, time to set up, time to break down, insurance that you're paying, the team you have to pay. It's a lot of factors that go into making a music video. Now, $500 is like 10% of what I would charge. A music video takes a couple days to shoot, or it takes one long day, and it has to be very meticulously storyboarded out. With the music video that you guys saw, this was storyboarded out, a week worth of storyboarding. So it was a long process of getting to the end. We had about 4 meetings before, 1 meeting after. You have to make time for all that, because I had to go look at the studio. So you got to factor all that into the cost too. You get the phone calls, they have ideas and things like that. So you got to make sure you make up a nice contract that covers all this stuff and all this detail. Now, when you make a contract, and we make a contract with a client, you have to make sure that it's as tight as possible okay? Because this is what you're going to refer to when you run into any problems on set or you run into any amendments. Now, when you're on set, you're going to run into something's broke or something happens. You have to make a certain amount of allowance for that, but you cannot veer off of the storyboard. That's what the storyboard is for, to keep you on track as much as possible. And the contract is there to sort of back that up too. Sometimes you'll have a client that might say, you know what, I was thinking about something right on the day, and you be like, okay, I like that idea, but let's do that idea after we finish the storyboard. After we finish the storyboard, we can go and pick up all the shots that you may have ideas about. That way you keep on track, you keep on target, and you don't start letting the production become something different. Because when you don't prepare for a production and it starts becoming something else, the end result is not what the client will want. And then they'll say, hey, this is not what we agreed upon. And because you didn't keep that integrity and you didn't have those structures in place, it can get away from you. So I don't like to be that strict on my clients, but you absolutely have to, just because you're protecting the end product. That's your goal. It's almost like getting a football and your goal is to make that touchdown. That's what they're hiring you for, to make that touchdown. They might have all kinds of ideas and things like that, and that's fine. But you just have to say, okay, let's make this touchdown. Let's get this goal, and then we'll try. Once we get the winning kick and we get the winning touchdown, we can try any other special kick or special teams or whatever. Coming up with ideas. What you're hired to do is be an idea guy, not the guy that's the lowest of the lowest. You know, I got a guy that can do it for $5. You're always gonna have somebody that can do it cheaper than you. Always. I never chase price, and that's one point you want to write down or keep in your back pocket. Never chase price. You're not going to be the cheapest. You don't want to be the cheapest. And I definitely won't be known by my price. That's what I don't want, because I want quality, and quality takes a certain amount of money to get to. In these businesses, sometimes your business won't grow because you're trying to please people based on price. If you chase price, trust me, you will never stay in business long enough to pass it on to your son, daughters, or whatever. Coming up with ideas. When I get a song from a client, what I like to do is I just sit on it. I like to listen to it a couple times. I like to just vibe out to it, you know, close my eyes, imagine what it's saying to me. Okay. I tell the client, your ideas right now, just hold your ideas. If you want me to be just a blank slate and just come up whatever just comes to me, then keep your ideas for now, and then I'll give you mine. Okay. If they want to go like that, because sometimes people just come to me for ideas. Okay. So I'll come back to them and I'll give them an idea. And basically what I'll do is I'll storyboard them out, and I'll give them an actual visual storyboard, meaning that it's an animation or something kind of drawn out, and I put it into a editor and I edit it and I make sure it's sort of animated and things like that. Or I'll take different clips from different music videos and put them into a mashup, and I sort of like say, this is the kind of tone, the kind of theme we're going for. It doesn't have to be that elaborate, but if you're into a visual medium like we are, then you usually want to steer towards that, because the more visual information you can give somebody, the more you two can sort of vibe. I also tell the client, send me some links to some videos that you'll like to copy certain things from. Give me the time code, and, you know, do a screenshot, copy a picture. All this is in email form. So when we're going back and forth with each other, this is making a whole list of ideas to pull from when it's time to make that storyboard. That's how I come up with ideas. The problem is that when you come up with ideas that can't quite necessarily fit budgets, okay? And sometimes I have to draw my mind back in. That's why I never talk about budget first, because I want to have the ideas out there, because sometimes you can do certain visual effects. You can make things happen, you know, in the edit if you prepare for it. One thing is, it's like a running joke in the industry. If you ever hear somebody say, oh, we'll fix it in post. It's a joke. It's a running joke. Basically what they're saying, you'll never be able to fix it in the edit. The biggest problem we ran into, number one, is on this particular project, the executive producer, they spoke to the manager of the space, you know, what would you call that? Basically floor manager. And I wasn't in the conversation, unfortunately, for this time. And they told them, hey, it's okay to paint the floor green along with the wall. We were trying to do visual effects at the end of this video, and I told them that the wall was fine to be painted green, but, you know, that was all. I didn't know the floor was a part of it being painted green. So anyway, I walked into the set the day of, and of course the wall and the floor is painted green. I'm like, oh my God. Let's just say that was a big issue for me, but I overcame it because I know how to shoot around things. So anyway, the floor being painted green, I couldn't shoot in the middle of the entire space. The space is humongous, and I was trying to get more volume, and I was trying to shoot a wide shot, and I couldn't do my wide shots, and I was literally forced into like a corner of this whole place, this production place. And man, it was like, it's those things that sort of kill the vibe. But as a professional, you don't give that energy to your client. You just make sure you figure out how to fix it without giving them the idea that something is wrong. So I did say it though, because you need to let your client know immediately when something is wrong. Okay, this is the problem right here. I'm going to fix it, but don't worry about it. But just know if something comes out bad or we're not able to fix it in post, that's why. So thankfully, I know green screen enough that I know how to shoot around it and without getting into the shot and things like that. So it just smashed our areas to be able to film in, and it created a whole different storyboard, honestly, to be honest. But anyway, I was able to still complete it. Being on set, you have no idea how much pressure it is to have 30 or 40 people waiting on you. When you're doing big productions, you have so many people like depending on your swiftness and your professionalism and knowing what you do. Things that clients can't see, they do not want to pay for. Remember that. You want to do the least amount of editing as possible, or the least complicated editing as possible, because they don't see it, they won't respect it, and they will not want to pay you for it. So if you can keep it down. The last shoot, I did a shoot, and you guys will eventually see the video. I used 5 cameras, and they were all different cameras, believe it or not. So the technical side of things, let's get into the technical. Okay, you're gonna need a camera. You're gonna need a camera that basically is right around the $700 to $1,200 range. You got a couple cameras that I can suggest right now: GH4, the A6300, A6500. You got just make sure the camera can shoot slow motion. It can shoot 24 frames per second, which is the normal cinematic frame rate. That you have some good lenses. Of course, lenses are always important. 2.8 and lower are always good because they're usually sharp and they let in the most light. Make sure, if you can, have a gimbal, steady cams to keep your camera steady. I used on this video shoot, I used a gimbal to steady my footage, and also a Segway. It was to keep the production running smoothly and quickly, and I didn't have I didn't have a huge team. Make sure your framing is in the 2/3. Look up 2/3 if you don't know what 2/3 means. I'm trying to keep it fast, of course. That's pretty much it. If you guys got any questions or any things you guys want to ask me, definitely ask me that. I can tell you exactly how to pull off certain shots, exactly how to budget for things. What you are, like I said, is just a project manager, okay? And the more you can shave off certain costs, certain places, and maximize the end result, the quality is still there. That's a win-win for everybody. So until next time, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for following me. Peace.
The smoke in the mirrors, our memories now, the silence come down like a river rushing way up above. This ain't no sugar-coated love.